There's a couple ways that you can approach this problem. For me, we know that we have zeros of the graph. We have 4 and 0. So we could talk about that. We also know the vertex. We know our vertex is at the point. We know our vertex is at the point 264. Just for the sake of ease, I'm going to go ahead and use my vertex. So this is going to give me y is equal to a times x minus 2 squared plus 64. Remember, this is our h and this is our k. So I need to figure out what my a value is. And in order to figure out what my a value is, I'm going to pick a perfect point. Well, the easiest point to use is 0, 0. So I'm going to say 0 is equal to a. 0 minus 2 is going to give me minus 2 squared plus 64. This is going to give me 0 is equal to 4a plus 64. Subtract 64 from both sides. It's going to give me negative 64 is equal to 4a. So then a is going to give me equal to negative 16. You could have also used reasonable deduction on your answer choices that you're given here. They all have an a value of negative 16. So that could have helped you out without having to do this whole process. So now I know that my equation is going to be y is equal to negative 16 times x minus 2 squared plus 64. Now, we need to have it in standard form. Right now, it's in vertex form. So, in order for me to have it in standard form, I need to distribute that x minus 2. So, that's going to give me y is equal to negative 16 times x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus 64. Now, I'm going to distribute that negative 16. So that's going to give me y is equal to negative 16 x squared plus 16 times 4 will give me 64 x. Okay, or rather t. We could use t. These are all in t, so that's okay. Plus 64. No, not plus. Careful, do not make that mistake that I just did, because negative times a positive is m minus 64 plus 64. That cancels those two out. So my answer choice is, or my answer is going to be negative 16x squared plus 64x. So that is my answer choice C. A has that same answer as negative. B would have been if you had made the mistake and added 64 and 64 together. That would have given you the negative 256. Number 8, you're quite simply just solving. We're distributing. So we have 0.5 times 4 will give me 2. So that becomes 2n minus 12 is equal to n minus 0.25 times 2. Or no, times 12. Whoops, 0.25 times 12. Give me 3, so that's going to be negative 3 plus 8 times 0.25, which will give me plus 2n. Don't forget that n. I'm going to combine like terms, so that's going to give me 2n minus 12. Is equal to n minus 3. I'm going to add 12, add 12. That's going to give me 2n is equal to, that cancels 3n plus 9. Subtract 3n, subtract 3n. That's going to give me negative n is equal to 9. Divide by negative 1, that will give me 9 is equal to, or n is equal to negative 9, which is our answer choice, G. We'll go in the next video over the next question in the next video. See you later. Okay, so welcome. In this question, we're talking about a sequence of numbers. Our third term in this sequence is 0. Our fourth term is 6. Our fifth term is 12, and so on and so on. based on this information, we want to look at our list of equations to see which one can be used to find the nth term in a sequence A of n. Well, if we recall, our A of n term or sequence formula is going to be A of n is equal to D times n minus 1 plus our first term. Let me use A1. Okay, now we don't know what our first term is. Our first term, that's a term 1, is a big question mark. But we don't know what term 2 is, but we know that our third term is equal to 0, and we also know that our fourth term is equal to 6. And if we look at the difference between, and we talk about also the fifth term is equal to 12. And if we look at the differences, we're adding 6 each time. So I can easily go backwards. So 6 from 0 will give me negative 6. And 6 from negative 6 will give me negative 12. So my first term in this sequence is going to be negative 12. So now I can quite simply write my equation. So A of n is equal to our difference, which is 6, times n minus 1, minus, because it's minus 12. Now, I just need to distribute. So that's going to give me A of n is equal to 6n minus 6 minus 12. So 6n, combining like terms, that's going to give me 6n minus 18, which is going to be our answer choice C. All right, number 10. It tells us that y varies directly with x, and we're given that means when we talk about y varies directly with x, that's y is equal to kx, okay? And I know that if x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 21, so I can write, we're looking for the value of k. We want to know what is k, what's our constant, okay? So I'm going to plug in, so 21 is equal to y, and then I'm going to say k times 3, and then I'm going to divide by 3, and that will give me k is equal to 7, okay? Now, I'm going to quite simply and take 105, because now our equation is y is equal to 7x. But now it tells me what is y when, or what is x when we're given the value of y and it is 105. So we're going to say that's going to be 105 is equal to 7 times x. So as you can see, to solve for x, I'm going to divide by 7. So 105 divided by 7 will give me x is equal to 15, which is our answer choice, J. Equivalent expression, we're all factoring, so we're just taking the factored form of this. So I know I'm going to have an x and an x. If this is negative, that means I'm going to have a positive and a negative. Okay, well, it gives me some possible answer choices here. So let's see if any of these possible answer choices will be factors of 60. So 2 times 3, that is a factor of 60, and 20 minus 3 will give me 17. But it needs to be negative 20 and positive 3 in order for this to work. So let's see. That's going to be our answer choice A. And let's make sure this works. So we're going to check it. Let me change different color for when we're checking. So x times x gives me x squared. X times negative 20 will give me negative 20x plus 3x minus 60. That does indeed give me x squared minus 17x minus 60, which is our original equation. So we're good to go on that one. That was pretty easy, right? Okay, zookeeper recorded feeding schedule for baby rhinoceros for 20 weeks. The table, the scatter plot shows the rhinoceros's weights. Scatter plot. That means that we're going to be looking at we need to create an equation. The easiest way to do this is to use our, let me go here, and to use our handy dandy calculator for this. I'm going to go to stats, I'm going to go to edit, I'm going to put in my stuff. So my x values are 1, 2, 4, 7, 9, 12, 14, 15, 17, 20, and then I have 20, and I have 19.5, I have 17, I have 15, I have 14, I have 13.5, I have 12.4, 11.6, 11, and 9. All right, then we're going to go back to stat, and we're going to go to calc, and this is a linear regression. If we look at our table, we can tell it's a linear regression because it's somewhat in a straight line. So we're going to say linear regression, L1. And that gives me my equation of negative y is equal to negative 0.54 x plus 19.8. And x is representing the feed. So now I'm going to plug that into my equation. So I'm going to say y is equal to negative 54 times 25 plus 19.8. Give me about 5.5. So y is equal to 5.5, which is closest to G. So 6%. All right. And okay, so what are the domain and range of f of x is equal to negative 37? If we remember, and I know this is going to be tricky for us to remember, this is saying the same thing as saying y is equal to negative 36. We're domain and range. That means that this is when we're talking about a graph, okay? And we're talking about a number line. And we're saying up here, down here is negative 37. This is y and this is x. So that means that I have in order for all the values to be y, it has to be a horizontal line. Okay? My domain is going to be all real numbers. Okay? And the range, though, so that means that any value of x that I pick. So if I pick x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, x is equal to negative 1, x is equal to 0, any value of x that I pick, it's going to be on that line. So it's going to be all real numbers. So that's going to eliminate A. That's going to eliminate B. Okay. Now, my range means that we're talking about the number, the value of y. Well, the only possible value of y is going to be D. Okay, negative 37. So we have all real numbers, and our range, it has to be negative 37. There's no other value of y that this equation of a line, it's a horizontal line, will never ever reach. All right? See you in the next video where I will go over question number 14.